Hello, Miss Fadila. My name is Muhammad Yakhsya Kamil. I will be explaining the steps I took to plan, research, organize, and write my essay on work stress, specifically focusing on the causes of stress in the workplace. I'll discuss my approach to each part of the process, including selecting and using sources. And I'll also share some of the challenges I encountered along the way. I hope that by the end of this video, we will have a clearer picture of how to approach an essay like this and a few tips that might help with our own writing. So for the first one, I have planning and research keywords. My process began with planning. Before I even started researching, I thought about the specific focus of my essay, which was understanding the causes of work stress. Since this topic can be broad, I used a brainstorming session to narrow down the main areas I wanted to cover. I identified a few key causes such as heavy workloads, role conflicts, lack of control, and organizational climate. Then, to find reliable sources, I selected specific keywords for each topic area. Using precise terms helped me refine my search results. Some examples including for general information, I used keywords like causes of job stress, work-related stress, and occupational health and stress. To focus on workload issues, I used keywords like impact of workload on stress and stress due to high job demands. For organizational causes, I search for terms like organizational culture and employee stress and effects of workplace climate on stress levels. Another tip that helped was using search filters to focus on peer-reviewed journals, which provided higher quality resources. And I also found it helpful to combine keywords like occupational health and work stress causes to refine my search further and get more specific results. This targeted approach saved time and helped me gather articles that directly related to each main point I wanted to discuss. 2. Organizing content. After gathering sources, my next step was organizing the content of my essay. I wanted to make sure my essay had a clear logical flow, so I created an outline with specific sections. The first one, introduction. Here I introduced the topic of work stress, why it's important, and provided a brief overview of the potential impacts of stress on health and well-being. Defining stress and types of stress, this section provided foundational information explaining stress and distinguishing between positive stress and negative stress. With reference from Selye 1956, I felt this was important because it sets the stage for understanding why workplace stress is mostly a negative form that can impact health. Main causes of work stress. This became the central part of my essay, where I explained each causes in a separate paragraph. Workload and job demands. I began with workload because it's one of the most common stressors.
I didn't
Here,
understand that.
I cited a study by Shari 2022, which detailed how excessive workload leads to stress and burnout. Role conflict and lack of control. This is the third section, by the way. In this section, I focused on how employees experience stress when their role expectations are unclear or when they lack control over their tasks. And then organizational climate. This paragraph covered how factors like a negative work environment and insufficient support from management can contribute to stress. And then health impacts of job stress. After discussing causes, I dedicated a section to the physical and mental health consequences, such as heart disease, anxiety, and depression, to emphasize why managing stress is essential. And for the conclusion, In the conclusion, I summarized the main points and briefly suggested ways that employers can help reduce stress. This structured approach allowed me to address each cause clearly and show its link to health impacts, creating a cohesive SI with logical progression. And sources, for the sources and their origins, for this essay, I wanted to ensure that my sources were credible and relevant. I used a mix of scientific journals, government sources, and practical articles. Here are three specific sources. For the first one, I use Indian Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine. This journal provided detailed insights into the mental health consequences of occupational stress, which I used to support the section on long-term health impacts. And then I use a journal called Management Research and Analysis. This journal offered information on management strategies and specific causes of workplace stress. One study by Panigrahi 2017 was especially useful as it highlighted stress as a growing problem in modern work environments. Health and Safety Executive, in short HSE, is a UK government website that focuses on workplace health and safety. I also use their data to provide statistical context on how stress contributes to absenteeism, reduced productivity, and overall health costs in organizations. Using these sources helped me balance scientific findings with practical information, making the essay more comprehensive. Combining academic journals with sources like the HSE, which provides real-world statistics, added credibility to my analysis. Why I used specific sources. I carefully chose certain sources for specific paragraphs to reinforce my arguments. In paragraph 2, I referenced Gunster and Rosen's 2013 study on work stress from the Journal of Management. This source provided a thorough multidisciplinary review covering both the psychological and psychical dimensions of stress. It was important here to establish that workplace stress is influenced by external job demands and internal responses, and this source was perfect for that purpose. In paragraph 4, I used data from the Health and Safety Executive HSE's website. Statistics on work stress-related illness and productivity loss gave concrete examples of the impact on organizations. Including this source was essential, as it showed that stress affects both employee health and workplace productivity. This specific reference helped me build a well-rounded argument and ensured that my essay had both academic depth and real-world relevance. For the challenges I faced, one of the biggest challenges I faced was managing the large volume of research. There is so much information available on job stress, so initially I had to sift through a lot of sources to find the most relevant ones. To manage this, I stayed focused on sources that specifically discussed the causes of stress and limited my search to high quality journals and reputable sites like HSE. Another challenge was ensuring that the essay remained concise while still covering each key cause in detail. I solved this by carefully structuring my outline and focusing each paragraph on one specific cause. Finally, connecting each cause to its impact on health was tricky. Some sources focused only on causes or only on health impacts, so I had to think critically to show the link between stress factors and their effects. This part took additional effort, but it ultimately strengthened my argument by highlighting the serious health risks associated with work stress. Okay, I think that's all for this video. Thank you, Miss Fadila. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.